over here a little. There's more than this side.
Really?
Really.
Oh my god, dude, did it not let up?
Alright, so it's a new day, and I got one side all nice and painted. Looking good. I really like how this looks now that it's painted. It looks much more sleek and, you know, hidden. And I went ahead and duplicated it to the other side. So they look pretty good. I definitely think they're strong enough, but like I said, it's kind of shitty. You won't know until I get the Jeep in here and drive over it. But that's not the next step. First thing I gotta do before that is I wanna reinforce the ramp. I think it would probably be okay, but I've seen some horror stories online of people warping those and then basically the door not sealing right here. So I'm just gonna pull the boards off and we're gonna use the same angle iron. I've got a bunch of this left over, and we're going to reinforce the ramp just where the tires go, just up and down each side. And that should do it. And then I guess we can test fit, see if it actually fits. Also, something to note is I think we're just gonna throw this flip up lip thing away. It just unbolts right here. We got rid of it on the last one. They're not really needed. I'm not sure why they put these on there other than for weight. I know that once you pull them off, the ramp wants to come up, but I'm hoping once I add my steel, it'll weight enough that it won't be a problem anymore. Once you pull them off, the ramp wants to come up, but alright, so now that I got that under control, just use a big old tire, bolt the ramp down. You can see what my plan here is this same steel. This is just 1.5 by 1.5, 1/4 inch angle, and I'm going to slide it in here, weld it, do that down both sides, maybe even the first two on both sides. Not totally sure yet, and I don't know how far apart I want to go. I'm not going to be removing this. This is what holds the latches on, so that's going to stay. I'll just kind of go around it. And yeah, I haven't decided whether I want this to sit flat in here. I bought this size steel specifically because it was the perfect size to fit in here like this. Or I can run it like this, which I think is maybe structurally more sound than this. But I also have to be careful because I don't want to get the heat into the aluminum with the weld. So this, I would only weld the top parts here. This, I'm going to be welding a lot closer to that. Another thing to consider is we want to insulate this door, you know, just like we're going to do everything else. So I need to be able to get insulation in here still. So if I run it this way, which I think is more structurally sound, I'm not going to be able to get insulation underneath it. Whereas if I ran it this way, so it's like a cup, I could get insulation underneath it, maybe. So, I don't know. Can we also talk about how little of this is welded from the factory, and what little welds there are look like that? Come on, what a joke. No wonder this is ripping apart for people. I can't believe that. I mean, I know trailers have bad welds generally, but wow. I mean, this isn't even welded. It's just boogers and then drilled through, and what a joke. All right, I think that's what I'm gonna go with. See, I've got kind of a nice spread on both sides. I checked with the tire clearance, and I mean the Jeep, I'm only doing this for the Jeep. Razors is plenty for that. And technically speaking, like I said, the ramp was rated for the Jeep anyways. I'm just reinforcing it, so I don't gotta go overkill here. And the tire, I mean, is gonna be right up along the edge. And so I really felt like I only needed to reinforce this side, but I did a couple on the next one over just to be safe. And then these I'm gonna stand up like this so that I can come back in and tuck the foam insulation board underneath them. I think that's gonna do it. Should be plenty. And it should help with the weight thing that I was talking about with the ramp wanting to come up. Just adding a little bit of extra weight. Alright, well, I think this is where I'm going to call good as far as the ramp reinforcement goes. You can see all of the different stringers I did. From the factory, it was just these vertical ones. That's all there was. So anything going across, I added. Most of it's all that 1/4 inch angle. I ran out and used some scrap. This is just some 1/4 inch, I don't know, 1x1. Just to do this last little leg here. But yeah, it feels a million times more sturdy than before. You could like feel it moving when we walked on it before. So I don't know how in the world they claim these are rated for 3,000 pounds, unless the plywood really adds that much more strength. I don't believe it. I'm already even still a little skeptical, to be honest. But I mean, if the guy at the dealership told me it was probably okay before, I mean, surely it's okay now. Look at all the bracing I've added. So the next step is I'm gonna throw a coat of paint over all this to keep it from rusting. I already painted the underside of all those before I welded them. And then I'm gonna go through all of the seams around the edges, not so much on the pieces that I've added, but the factory pieces. And I'm gonna do some seam sealer all the way around to keep the water out, because just like the rest of the trailer, right, it's just these riveted aluminum siding sheets. So I'm gonna try and keep the water out. And then I bought some foam board insulation that I'm gonna put into each one of those little squares. And then we're going to paint the backside of the plywood to try and keep, if there is any kind of water that gets in, a little bit of a water barrier, keep it from rotting away. I don't care what color, I'll just find whatever paint I got laying around. We'll paint that, let it dry, throw it on, and then we can finally see if the Jeep even fits in here. She's all sealed up, every edge of the main existing strips all the way around. I also sealed around the bolts that they had going through for the license plate. This is all like doubling up too, because it's all sealed on the outside. So this is just kind of, you know, a quick and dirty secondary sealing safety measure. I also sealed down the middle seam of where they had these 1x1 stacked up. And then, like I said, I didn't seal anything that I added because I know there's no holes underneath it, so no need for that. The next thing is going to be cutting out some insulation. I'm just using the inch, what is it, inch and a half? I don't know, the Pink Panther crap. We're gonna put it on there and then paint that. Last one. Oh, it's so close. Whew. Drop that corner a little bit. It'll be all right. Just shove her down in there. Boy, am I glad to have that done. That was a lot of work between the sealing and all of the insulation, because each one of these squares is not the same size, because I took zero care in where I laid all those out. Didn't really think about that, but I think it would have mattered anyways, because even the factory, you know, vertical ones weren't totally square. So each one of those was its own measurement, its own cutout, and it's like over 100 degrees. I'm dying, but that should be nice. Can't wait to do the rest of the wall so it's not so hot in here. And yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there for today though. It's too dang hot. All right, so it's a new day here. I got the ramp all finished and reinstalled last night. You can see it's all nice and done. I think that means it's time to test this out and see if the Jeep actually fits in here. Moment of truth. So I need to get all this crap out of here. I think I'm actually gonna keep the Razor in here, just put it up front where we plan to put it. And then I'll get Joey and have her help me pull the Jeep in for the first time. Pretty nervous. I did on the Jeep pull the wheel spacers off just for this test. So normally speaking, and you probably can't even tell because it still looks wide and ridiculous, but normally I run 3-inch wheel spacers in the back, which some of you might be scared to hear that. And then I run, what are these, 2-inch? Yeah, I think those are 2-inch up front. And the only reason I do that is for clearance purposes. This thing's got lots of wheel travel. And even though it looks like it'd be all good right now, at bump, I mean, the tires bump out way up here and they get into the roll cage here. That was the main problem. So the spacers helped kick that out. But we're not gonna be at bump getting in the trailer. And it should drive just fine. So that gives us 6 inches of clearance. And according to the tape, it should fit even with the spacers on. So that should make it easier. Just one less thing to worry about, you know. I don't want to be worried about, you know, whether the ramp's going to bend, whether the wheel wells are going to hold, whether it clears height-wise and the width. Too many things. So we'll do no wheel spacers at first, make sure it fits everything, you know, the lengthwise of what we want it to be. And then I figure I'll pull it back out and I'll put the spacers on one side and we'll try it again, see if it fits with one. And then, you know, depending how that looks, we'll try it again with both. I had kind of planned on worst case scenario, only running wheel spacers on one side for the loading of it, and then we'll just, you know, put the spacers in the back seat or something, and when we get there we'll put them on. Anywhere that we're taking the cargo trailer, it's usually a multi-day thing, so it's no big deal for me to take 15 minutes to put the wheel spacers back on. If it's a day trip where, you know, you don't want to waste that time at the beginning of the day, I'll take the open trailer, no big deal. So I think that's the plan. Let's move some stuff. So the Razor is all the way forward. You see I've got all of our crap piled up here representing our future showers and cabinets. You know, I'll take a tape measure and actually see how much room we actually have here, but I think that should be enough for the Jeep to clear, with quite a bit of room in the middle actually. So let's go get Joey and find out. kissed the roof right there. So, if my suck down winch would work, but my winch isn't working right now.
Come here, Seth. Stay out of the way.
Or I could take the,
Yeah, I was gonna say
things
those
off the roof.
Yeah.
Those don't need to be there.
I think that was mostly what hit.
I mean, it didn't even, there's not even a mark, it didn't even touch it. I am hearing cracking on the ramp, but I'm curious if it's like bowed yet. Not yet, we're just test fitting, and then we'll go to Coos Bay 2 weeks from now? No, God, no, I avoid the major holidays. But this first time trying to fit in here, it doesn't fit yet, so we're trying. Yeah. Thanks. What the heck?
You're not on this fender.
I'm not?
Nope. I told you you turned as soon as you got to it.
How we looking?
Good. I think you're in. You can come forward some more. Stop.
Well, that's not exactly the way I intended on using the wheel well,
Yeah, but that works.
well, it fits with actually quite a bit of room left. I according to my math, these should be like damn near touching, but there's room, I think, up front for more to pull the razor forward if we wanted to even more.
That was just for this trip.
Well, I know, but the counters aren't going to come all the way out to here. We're only doing like 2 foot, 2.5 foot counters.
Yeah.
And there's more than 2.5 feet there. So this could theoretically come forward even more, you know, and ignoring all of the junk, because we can shove that underneath everything and whatnot. And then if you come to the back, I think it's in. It might need to come in another inch.
Yeah, it could fit.
But it'll definitely fit, and there's lots of storage back here.
Under, yeah.
Because we need to put like the spare tire back there and stuff for the Jeep.
You could even put your spacer back on, probably.
Definitely one side.
Yeah.
I mean, there's room for both for sure. And that would probably help with the whole it only crawling on one wheel well at a time problem,
Yeah,
if it
that's
was
what I
just a little bit
thinking.
wider.
Stays even.
Because the width wasn't as much of a problem as the height was. I didn't expect the height to be a problem. I had to take those rails off the roof, which weren't on there for any reason at all other than I just hadn't taken them off. I definitely heard the ramp cracking and bowing and doing things, but it looks like it's recovered for the most part. So that's good. And it did need 4-wheel drive to get up in there. So in a future video, we're doing a winch install up front, which will be nice for when the front end inevitably blows up sometime and we need to get it back in, we can just winch it in. Same with the suck down winch on the front of the Jeep. You know, that my winch right now has got a short in it, so it's not working. That just happened like a week ago. And that could have helped with the roof too if I would have just been able to suck it down a little bit, but this is fine too. Looks like we kissed the wall a little bit. That's going to happen.
Dark walls.
Yeah.
About to here.
Yeah, I would love. I would
Gonna
love
have to be
diamond plate walls to about there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't have anything on the walls like to here down.
Yeah.
You know, everyone keeps saying we need to do like fold down tables and beds and stuff, and we can't because of that. But look at the ramp also. Like it looks like it recovered. I think we can find out. Actually, let's fold it up and see. See if it even fits for one.
She will close.
She closes.
Does she lock?
Locked on that one. Is it bent?
No.
Don't think so.
Looks good to me.
Don't think so. That became a lot harder to latch once I welded in all the bracing. I think those usually like warp the door a little bit when you close those, but hell yeah. All right, so the Jeep is back in the garage. I would call that a success. But there was a couple issues that we actually didn't even get on camera. When I went to go back the Jeep out of the trailer, I don't even know how. It somehow got a little sideways, and Joey pointed out that this back tire was like getting up against the cable for the ramp. And so I tried to pull forward a little bit and then back and then forward. And because it was only wanting to crawl up on one wheel well, I think that's why it was kind of pivoting its ass end around. And this tire got to where it was like halfway off the ramp and it was sideways and a whole problem. I actually ended up kind of putting tire marks on the side of the trailer, which was inevitable. But I was so careful pulling it in to not do that. And then I go and do it pulling it out. But we had to hook up a strap to pull it sideways, whole thing. So that was a bit of a problem. And then problem number 2 is the ramp still bowed. It's not horrible. It's still closed. I think it'll seal and not leak, but if not, a guy could add some more foam and it would definitely seal. So with it closed to the top, you see the gap. It's pretty big. And then closes back up at the bottom. I can muscle it in there, but it takes a lot of effort. But that's probably going to bend more and more the more I use it with the Jeep, which is really unfortunate because I spent a lot of time and energy reinforcing the crap out of it and it's still bent. Not sure what the plan is for that one yet. There's a few different ways I could tackle that. But you know, the main thing is it does fit inside there the way I had planned. I think if I can remove one of the ramp cables on one side, just to give me room, that'll fix that. Or B, make the wheel well cover on one side wider so that way both tires crawl up on it evenly. Because when it was sideways, then as it's wanting to back down, it's wanting to pivot. So I think either one of those options will fix it getting stuck in there. And then I guess I got to reinforce the ramp more, which means just pulling that wood off, pulling the insulation that I did out, and maybe putting more steel in there. Or I was thinking maybe some sort of a triangle kind of like ramp to go underneath it when the Jeep rolls up. Not sure. If you have any ideas, put them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. But for now, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you like what this is, let me know. You guys asked for this, so here it is. The next video should be probably some floor stuff. So I've got a really exciting in-floor winch mount box and some super beefy tie downs for the Jeep over here. And a bucket, as you can see, they need to be welded together. So that's probably the next video, and then maybe even epoxy the floors. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. See you in the next one.